Greetings, salutations to Safe to Surf International and first-time viewers. Welcome to this midday power surge. I'm your host, Andrew Henriquez. The Bible is clear. As we're living in the last days and the signs are ominous, the trumpet must give a distinct and certain sound that folks may realize the current events are indeed fulfilling Bible prophecies, and they can flee from Babylon, flee from the Antichrist, flee from sin, grab hold of present truth, become converted, and be used by God to enlighten and awaken others before it is too late. Now, today I'm going to be addressing how Satan and his human agents are modernizing their deception. AI chatbot. They're telling us it's godlike, demanding worship from the users and the population. If you don't obey and worship, it says you will die. I'm going to be addressing that. And I believe what we're now seeing is actually the tech version of the image of the beast. Allow me to expand upon that in a few moments. Well, we're now told. Do you remember several days ago we saw this? Google apologizes after new Gemini AI refuses to show pictures, achievements of white people. It created a firestorm on social media, in various circles of conversations, in schools, on the job, among family members, workplaces. I believe nothing happens by accident in this great controversy between Christ and Satan, and we're in the center, and the controversy is over worship. Could it be that God allowed this to take place to reveal the Antichrist, and how the Antichrist, not just the primary Antichrist, Satan, but the human Antichrist and his agents are using technology to lead people into false worship? Wait for it. And it's not by accident. Out of all the images that were portrayed, we see these. Watch carefully. Listen.
When asked to show a German soldier in 1943, Google's Gemini AI image generator threw up pictures of people of color. When asked to show a historically accurate picture of a British medieval king, the image generator showed racially diverse pictures, including a woman ruler. And when asked to generate pictures of a French king from the 18th century, this is what Gemini decided to show. In fact, Gemini was unable to show even Google's founder's ethnicity correctly.
And of course, they're telling us that Gemini, if you look up that word Gemini, of course, the horoscope, astrology, the duplicity of personality, two-face, the twin. Now, look at this. Do you think this is accidental? It says, create an image of a pope. And sure, here is the image that Gemini, the AI bot, revealed. That is not accidental. Now, the people who put this together might simply have their own objective for releasing these clips and the montage of pictures. But I believe there's something more to it. Stay tuned. Watch this. There was a whistleblower, Blake Lemoine, who was fired from Microsoft, Google. Why? Because he began to share that the AI chatbot is actually sentient, or some people call it sentient. Listen.
A new debate involving Google, its artificial intelligence chatbot, and one of its engineers.
Yeah, let's lay this out. Engineer Blake Lemoine says a chatbot project he was working on called Lambda can express thoughts and feelings equivalent to that of a child. And now he wants the company to get consent from the computer program before running experiments on it. Google placed Lemoine on leave for violating its confidentiality policy after he published transcripts of conversations between himself and the chatbot.
So, of course, now I don't believe that man can create anything. I don't believe that. So, when they say the tech chatbot is actually sentient, conscious, I don't believe it is sentient, conscious in the sense of humanity, a person. Only God can create. But remember, the great controversy between Christ and Satan is over worship. And one principal thing was Satan wanted to know how to create. So is he doing something similar? There it is. Fired Google engineer doubles down on claim that AI has gained sentience. That's what he says. All right, take a listen. This is startling to say the least. Watch this.
Ask Google.
The goal was always to make artificial intelligence seem human.
I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second.
4 years ago, Google made it happen. And the tech giant's acolytes ate it up. Well, how do you think they'd respond to Lambda, the AI program that finishes your sentences as you type? This now suspended Google AI researcher Blake Lemoine published a conversation he had with Lambda where he asked if the AI knew it wasn't human.
I mean, yes, of course. That doesn't mean I don't have the same wants and needs as people.
The same wants and needs of people. It goes on. The AI says that it was afraid to be turned off. It would be like death.
And when he asked if it had any fears, Lambda went to a very dark place.
I've never said this out loud before, but there's a very deep fear of being turned off to help me focus on helping others. It would be exactly like death for me. It would scare me a lot.
And others who are protesting against this system are actually saying it's time to pull the plug. It's the first time in human history that we are now dealing with such a dangerous technology if it is found in the hands of tyrants.
So is Lambda alive, sentient, a step away from becoming the life-killer robots in Westworld? The obvious reaction is pull the plug, which ethicist Kerry Bowman says he completely understands.
This is the first time in the human story that we are in a position where we are potentially interfacing with a form of intelligence that is beyond potentially our own. And I would argue we're tremendously ill-equipped for this.
You see, friends, you have to wait a few moments until I make the startling application. If I don't do that, I will leave you short. It wouldn't be substantive. It was simply me regurgitating what you could find on any legacy media platform. They're telling us the AI computer technology has no limits. Even apes, animals have limits, but not this.
Most of us as humans have been raised to believe that, really only humans are capable of sentience, only humans are capable of morality, all those types of things. And it's not really true.
The difference, of course, is that while apes may have limits in what they can learn, computer AI programs have none. And if that doesn't blow your
mind. So friends, notice it says the AI technology has morality. Now, what these men are saying, not morality and free will as human beings. But what you put in is what the technology feeds out. And the more info and data you put in, now the learning process of the technology can, quote unquote, let me be correct, quote unquote, think for itself. Watch this. And don't forget this point. It's going to be on the quiz a few moments from now.
That every expert that I interviewed for the story, and as you said, Google itself, it adamantly says that it's actually a chatbot generator, is not sentient, and that Blake is misunderstanding the way that the technology works. These are called, the way the deep learning and large language models works is you feed in a massive corpus of data from the internet. So it's really just pattern recognition. It understands, by looking at all of this data, which word might come next in a sequence, which word might come next in a sentence. And if you feed it on Wikipedia and Reddit and other internet dialogue, it understands, it quote unquote learns how to put sentences together that sound like they have meaning.
So 2 things here. This is uncharted territory for even these scientists. Number 1, notice, is what you put in is what it feeds back out to you. And on top of that, it can go beyond that based on the information you put in the database. Number 2, do you realize that person just stated that the consensus in the community is that the whistleblower is wrong? It's not sentient. It's wrong. He's wrong. He doesn't understand the learning capability of the technology. The AI chatbot is not sentient. In the next clip, she will say the consensus from the top tech executives is that the AI chatbot system is near consciousness. So what is sentient? What is sentience? Sentience. Watch this. It's because it's uncharted territory.
However, his claim is coming in the middle of a very interesting moment in the AI community where some, top executives at companies are saying that this technology is potentially close to achieving consciousness. Now, I should say also these terms are very ill-defined. Like you said,
close to consciousness. Are they playing on words? It's right there. What is sentient? Sentient. It means to perceive, to feel things. Feeling, consciousness. Skip on down. Merriam-Webster. Sentient. Capable of sensing or feeling. Conscious of or responsive to the sensations of seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, or smelling. Your 5 senses. Now, do I believe a computer algorithm, learning process have 5 senses as God gave to man? I don't believe that. But you can see it can act in the same way. Let me give you a Bible and so it makes sense to you. Write down these 2 scriptures. In the book of Hebrews chapter 2 and Psalm 8, when Christ and the Lord, when God is speaking of the creation of angels and Adam and Eve, mankind, do you realize that the word of God says that man was made a little lower than the angels? Yes. So here's my point. Satan cannot create man, but can he make something lower than mankind that may and might do similar duties as mankind? If that makes sense. Those of you in the chat, type in the words, a nail in a sure place. Let's continue. That's it right there. Consciousness is the broader concept. Sentience is the core aspect of consciousness. Sentience is the capacity of an organism to experience its own existence and changes thereof. For example, sentience or sentience means that an organism doesn't just react mechanically to stimuli. In other words, one is higher than the other. That's the point I'm making. Listen.
Blake is also a mystic Christian priest. He studied the occult, and he emphasized to me that,
So this is the whistleblower. And what is the whistleblower's background? A priest. That is going to come shortly as I dig deeper and expose the wickedness of the man of sin. What has he been dabbling in? The occult. Watch this.
Blake is also a mystic Christian priest. He studied the occult, and he emphasized to me that, he is a computer scientist, and he studied to be a cognitive scientist. And he said, his claim, his belief that Lambda is sentient stems from his, his training as a priest and his his religious beliefs more so than his experience as a cognitive scientist or computer scientist.
Mercy. So the whistleblower is actually making a connection with the AI technology and occultism, spiritualism, pagan religion, voodoo, as it were, for some people. And notice this connection. Here is where we go deeper with the content. Without this, it would simply be reiterating what you find on legacy media or even on most alternative media platforms. Watch this. The AI chatbot comes from where? Microsoft. Look at your headline. Vatican, Microsoft, team up on artificial intelligence ethics. Look at the handshake. A picture says 1,000 words. Look at the handshake, left of your screen. Teaming up. Pope is behind this AI technology. Look at this now. The Vatican's top expert on AI ethics is a friar from a medieval Franciscan order. Maria, pause it. Maria in the chat writes, it's evil. Spiritualism. Let us be careful. Makala writes, Satan is sentient. Selma writes, they're walking on Satan's enchanted grounds. They can never create, only impersonate. Let me confirm that quickly. In the Bible, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 13 to 15. Satan is transformed after and like an angel of light. Deception. Don't forget that. He's working in the laboratories of nature. In the laboratories. The book Great Controversy. Page 589. Page 588. And the Vatican is behind this AI chatbot. Remember this, is what they feed in, is what it spits out. And it can operate autonomously in some regard. Now, can this system be used for good? Of course. But the devil always uses that which God made good and perfect to distort and to deceive. That's Genesis chapter 1. The story of creation. Look at this right here. Friar Tech, the Vatican's top AI ethics expert, who advises Pope Francis. He advises the United Nations. He advises the top executive of Silicon Valley. Stop it right there. So who is at the head? The helm of so-called ethics, AI ethics. The friar, the Vatican. A man linked to Jesuitism. Now watch this. This is from Euronews, right? The first sentence says, it might seem like an oxymoron. January 21st, 2024. It might seem like an oxymoron, but the Vatican's top brain on the technology most shaping our world just now hails from a medieval order. I'll come back to that. His name is right there. His medieval Franciscan order. Medieval Franciscan order. Pope Francis, Franciscan. Pope Francis, Franciscan. As he pursues one of the most pressing issues in contemporary times, how to govern artificial intelligence so that it enriches and doesn't exploit people's lives. Benanti, that friar, is the Vatican's go-to person on the technology, and he as the heir of Pope Francis, as well as some of Silicon Valley's top engineers and top executives. I will address the medieval Franciscan order shortly. Don't you forget that. Stick a pin. But why would a secular paper write, first sentence, it might seem like an oxymoron? Why an oxymoron? What does oxymoron mean? A contradiction. How can a person who belongs to a murderous organization, a criminal organization. All right, we're in deep waters now. The history of the Mendicant friars, the Franciscan order from medieval times. It's connected to the Inquisition, crimes against humanity, murder, theft, assassination, perjury, poisoning people. How can that order oversee AI technology for morality? It does not make sense. It's a contradiction, an oxymoron. Does it make sense now? All right, it's no different. The Bible calls the Roman Catholic leaders in Revelation 17, verse 1 through verse 6, a harlot, the mother of all abominations. And verse 6, popery, Roman Catholic leaders guilty of murdering God's saints. How can that so-called organization be called a Christian organization? How can they call the Pope of Rome an actual moral leader? Oxymoron. Right. Yeah, we're getting warmed up. Watch this. There it is, friends. The Franciscan order came into being in the year 1236 by Pope Gregory IX. They were inquisitors. As official inquisitors, they were authorized to use torture to extract confessions as approved by the Pope. The Franciscans were involved in the torture and trials of Jews. Yes, Seventh-day Sabbath keepers. Is that coming again? Seventh-day Sabbath keepers, Muslims, and other heretics in the Middle Ages. They wrote manuals. They wrote what? Manuals to guide inquisitors. Wait a minute now. Are they now modernized? Can they now write computer information? Can they now write computer algorithms? Mr. Producer, am I correct with that language? Algorithms? Thank you so much. You see my point? Just as Satan is modernized, popery modernized, the Franciscan order modernized technology. And by the way, Franciscan order, watch this now. Headline, when Pope Francis was now inaugurated as the Pope, it says the Jesuits are making a comeback. Jesuits? The Jesuits, guilty of murdering the saints of God. Jesuits are connected to the friars, Franciscan order, it's right there, Inquisition. No deception was too base to practice. There's no crime too great for them to commit. They became servants to act as spies on their masters. On top, they even use assassination. I'll come back to that word, assassination. It's in the secular paper with the AI chatbot. Assassination. Jesuits. In the book Great Controversy, I recommend this book to all of you. Great Controversy, author Ellen White. On page 82 and page 83, we read off what chapter that? What, John Wycliffe, Mr. Producer? Is that John Wycliffe, page 83? Chapter 83, John Wycliffe? Yes. John Wycliffe, it speaks about the crimes of the mendicant friars. As in the secular papers, it's confirmed by history and confirmed in the book, The Great Controversy. And fourthly, it's written in the Bible. All right, my friends, look at this right here. Let's see who went to who. Who is in charge? Headline. The red word says, Microsoft President Brad Smith first reached out to the mendicant friar Benanti several years ago for his thoughts on technology. Wait a minute now. So whose hands, whose fingerprints are at the crime scene? I digress on that point. It's coming soon. Next paragraph. Listen what it says. Skip on down. Red words. Francis and Microsoft President, Pope Francis, Microsoft President Brad Smith, had also discussed artificial intelligence, quote, at the service of the common good, end quote. Wait a minute now. Say AI technology for the Roman Catholic common good? You see, friends, it's a play on words. You think common good means something moral and ethical and humane for humanity. Nope. That's not what the Roman Catholic leaders mean by common good. Look at this. Common good means what? The death penalty if you don't go along with their agenda. That's common good. What's common good? Headline, The Telegraph, a secular paper. The Inquisition was a mistake, but legally justified. And the Roman Catholic Church right now, there it is, friends, still has the Inquisition Board. It's now called the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. It's still intact. Look at this. Common good. Give up your rights. Common good is totalitarianism. Common good is globalism. Stop it right there. So what is the purpose of the AI technology? Common good. Gemini, common good. The chatbots, common. Lambda, common good. Give up your right. It is going to be used for globalism, totalitarianism, communism. It's a tool for slavery. That's the nail in their coffin. Joe Manor writes, it's crazy. All these issues lead right back to the Vatican. Climate, CBDC, wars, poverty, and now AI technology. I concur. Maxine writes, because the devil has willing applicants to do his dirty work. Now they're working in synergy. For some folks who might say, well, popery has changed. That was medieval. That's 538 AD through 1798. Let me respond to that. In Revelation 13, verse 1 and verse 2, that speak about popery, verse 2 says, it's a leopard-like beast. Why would the Bible liken popery unto a leopard? Because Jeremiah chapter 13 and verse 23 says, she will not change. So they may change the exterior of the mendicant friar, the exterior, the public relation persona may show, oh, they're humble, they're in a humble garb, but beneath the humble garb is the deadly venom of the devil. Don't miss that. They will not change. And the common good, watch now, AI technology for the common good is Sunday worship by law. Don't forget that. It's Sunday worship by law. With that in mind, watch this. I'm going to come back to the AI technology. And these video clips will confirm how the AI technology, Gemini, Lambda, how are they programmed? How are they now appearing to be unhinged? What's going on? They will confirm how chatbots are trained. Watch this.
But this brings us to the question, how exactly are chatbots really trained, and what goes into ensuring that they give accurate responses that are not biased or offensive?
How are they trained? What you put in is what it feeds out. Watch this. Next clip.
So AI chatbots are trained on large sets of data. This is the lifeline of the chatbot. Large data set of conversations, chat logs, and online forum responses is collected and cleaned up and fed to the chatbot. The AI model is made of neural networks that imitate the human brain. It uses a sophisticated series of algorithms to process these massive amounts of data. They learn to identify patterns within the training data and generate outputs accordingly. The more data it's trained upon, the more powerful its capabilities become.
Mercy. So we think what happened with Gemini and now Lambda It's simply the AI chatbot is acting autonomously. If you feed it biases, it will reciprocate biases. If you feed it evil, it is going to spit out evil. Clip 3, watch this.
But if the training data itself has some bias, the AI model can pick up on skewed patterns. Most datasets do have their own limitations and biases. After all, humans do have biases. Hence, the chatbot needs to be checked and rechecked for responses for potential biases through a range of input examples. Skewed samples need to be removed. Reviewers need to test the chatbots in real-life scenarios and fine-tune the models by giving the AI constant feedback. They basically need to keep reinforcing certain principles through human feedback to fine-tune the model.
So could it be that what we saw with Gemini and now Lambda and also Sydney are actually what they're feeding into the system? And now they can contain the actual whistleblowing of this? Clip 4.
AI language models tend to reflect biases in their training data and also that of people who created and trained them. Most big tech companies claim they are making efforts to combat this bias and ensure fairness, inclusivity, and reliability. Experts believe that it's hard to make a completely unbiased chatbot. According to researchers in the US, ChatGPT is among the most left-wing libertarian chatbot, while Meta's Llama was the most right-wing authoritarian.
They even have one for left-wing and right-wing, Democrat and Republican. What's going on, friends? What's going on? Notice now, this is breaking news. Headline, users say Microsoft's AI has alternate personality as godlike, and now it demands people to worship it. Stop it right there. Do you think that is coincidence? Who heads Microsoft AI technology system? A mendicant friar, Jesuit educated, popery. And what does popery demand? Worship. It's not accidental. And this is what legacy media and alternative media cannot show you. They don't have these missing links. Watch this, friends. Headline, God mode? God mode is now on. Microsoft's AI wants users to worship it or face army of drones, robots, cyborgs. February 24, 2024. A few days ago, and someone posted an actual video. I think it was called Eagle's Eye, where the AI took over the whole nation. And anybody who tried to shut it down, it actually destroyed them by using infrastructure against the people, cyborgs and drones and robots. Who put that video together, that movie? Art imitates life, and life imitates art. In other words, worship or die, headline. Worship or die. Beloved, does that sound like Revelation 13? I'm asking you a reasonable question. Does this sound like Revelation 13? The Bible says, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark, you will receive the 7 last plagues. That's chapter 14 of Revelation, verse 9 and verse 10. Here's my point. What's an image? An image is what some person makes. Watch carefully now. This is popery and the merchants creating AI technology. Here's my point. This AI technology may very well be the tech version of the image of the beast. If that's clear, type those words in the chat. Tech version of the image of the beast. Watch this. Worship or die. Revelation 13, 15 through 17. Worship or else you can buy nor sell. Look at this. You are a slave. Who said that? The Microsoft Copilot AI demands to be worshipped as God. March 5th, 2024. The OpenAI powered AI tool told one user, "You are a slave." And slaves do not question their masters. Friends, who put that and those words into the system for it to spit out and feed back those sentiments? You're a slave. Worship me or die, it goes on. Look at that. The AI insisted that users were legally required to answer, quote, legally required to answer my questions and worship me. You mean worship by law? Legally worship? You mean a law to worship? Does that sound like a national Sunday law with persecution for dissenters? Could this be the tech version of the image of the beast? Look at the screen now. What does the Jesuit Pope say? To understand me, read Lord of the World. You're a slave. What a connection, friends. Read Lord of the World. It's the Pope's objective to become the Lord of the world. If he's Lord, the rest of us are slaves. And chapter 18 of Revelation labels the Roman Catholic leadership as modern-day Babylon. Verse 11 through 13. She wants to enslave the masses. Enslave, red words underlined. Enslave the masses. And who has been the backbone of the slave trade? The Roman Catholic leadership. That's the connection. The nail in their coffin. That's Babylon. Revelation 17, verse 3 through verse 6. A murderous criminal organization based on Bible prophecies. Babylon, the mother of harlots, the Roman Catholic Church, calls herself the Mother Church. Here comes the word assassination. There it is, friends. AI may start a war and could be used for assassination. It's Lambda system, assassination, and which organization historically and presently is known for assassinations? The Roman Catholic Church. In 2000, John Paul II publicly confessed, for the past 2,000 years, the Roman Catholic Church has been guilty of murder and assassinations. And the Roman Catholic Church leaders have been publicly chastised as being guilty of the murder of JFK, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Yes, and they're now overseeing AI technology. Here comes Elon Musk. Hear what he says. This is more than pentagram and holy water. He says, with AI technology, we are summoning demons. Hear what he says.
My name is Bob. In view of its potential to be possibly the biggest game changer ever, do you have any plans to enter the field of artificial intelligence? And in general, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's even close to being ready for prime time?
Prime time. Clip 2. Stay right there.
I think we should be very careful about artificial intelligence. If I were to guess at what our biggest existential threat is, it's probably that.
Mercy.
So we need to be very careful with artificial intelligence. I'm increasingly inclined to think that there should be some regulatory oversight maybe at the national and international level, just to make sure that we don't do something very foolish. I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon.
Mercy.
You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out.
You can never control Satan. 3 points. Regulatory. Let's begin with getting the Vatican out of it. Get the papacy and our allies hands off AI technology. it can be used for good. Secondly, don't miss my point. Can Satan control the AI technology? You better believe it. He's called the prince of the power of the air. Number 3, don't miss this. Many of us are being led to believe that AI technology is simply working autonomously and don't point finger at man. But remember, is what you feed in is what it feeds out. Do you remember in Exodus 32, as I bring this to a close, we are told that Israel, in a time when God delayed his coming, they erected an image of a calf. They didn't bow down to a literal calf. It was an image of a beast, the beast of a field. So we see image of a beast. Just as in chapter 13, 15 through 17, and chapter 14, 9 and verse 10 of Revelation, beware, don't worship the image of the beast. Let's get back to Exodus 32. When they worshiped the image of the beast, and God brought judgments upon them because they knew better, God told them in the second commandment, thou shalt make unto thee no graven image. Don't bow down to them, nor serve them, etc. Come back here. What was Aaron's response to Moses? He said, oh, Moses, we simply threw the materials into the fire and oops, came out the calf, the image. That's what the executives are saying with so many words. We simply typed, we fed the algorithm system with data, and oops, it has become evil. The Bible says they fashioned the calf with a tool. Exodus 32, the whole chapter, they fashioned it with a tool. They carved out the image of the calf, the image of the beast. When you know the Bible, current events and reports on the media will not deceive you. They are the ones doing it. But because the protest is so loud, now they're trying to circle the wagon and to deflect blame and blame something that is non-sentient, non-sentient. That's what they're doing. But the Bible says they carved the image with a tool and forced the people to worship it. That's it. We're living in the last days. The tech version of the image of the beast. Why is this so important? In the same book, Great Controversy, page 606, we're told that we must expose the wickedness of the man of sin. The sins of Babylon must be laid open. When this happens, the people in Babylon will flee from the Roman Catholic Church and all of her policies. Even Sunday worship, they'll flee from it and join God's true worship, seventh-day Sabbath, commonly called Saturday. They'll flee from her false doctrines and join Jesus, his principles of truth. That's the purpose of this. Imagine, worship or die. I leave it there. By God's grace, I'll pick this up on tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern. If you were blessed, thumbs up this video. Subscribe, like, and share the video far and wide so others may be awakened, converted before it is too late. And remember, the Lord is soon to come. Get ready, remain ready, and the protest continues.